What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So we have a Republican new nominee for Speaker, although we'll see if it's going to happen here. It is Tom Emmer is the new Republican nominee for House Speaker. You can see him here. He is the current majority whip for the Republicans right now, as the Republicans have not had a speaker here for several weeks now, believe it or not. And things aren't looking good right now. I don't know if they're going to even be able to elect a speaker here. You can let me know your thoughts here. He's currently 62 years of age. I think Steve Scalise would be a good one, but he doesn't want the job. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to elect Tom Emmer either. Meanwhile, we're headed for a government shutdown, which will mean our military members will not get paid for the time being. Meanwhile, they have to defend our country, and we have thousands of troops over there in the Middle Eastern area, all around Israel. Don't forget that we also do. Here is what a search of U.S. military bases in the Middle East will bring up. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them. Quite a lot of them. This doesn't even include the increase of military troops that we have there right now with the aircraft carriers, additional ships, and additional troops in the areas as well. So you can see we have thousands and thousands of troops in and around the Middle Eastern area. It's a lot. There was also about 20,000 Americans in Israel when the war started trying to evacuate. Who knows how many are left in there at this particular moment? Some in Gaza as well, trying to evacuate. So you just gotta kind of put this into perspective, not to mention all the other countries as well trying to evacuate and the innocent lives from both sides. There's a lot of innocent lives from both sides that are caught up in this. There's over 5,000 people confirmed dead already in this war. Put that into perspective, and then think about, if you think about the Ukraine-Russia war, as Ukraine got invaded, people thought that wouldn't even happen. Now we're over 20 months into this war. Russia had a document, a government document, where they confirmed in their own government document over 100,000 Russian troops dead just on the Russian side. Who knows how many from Ukraine as well? Just at least double that, or 100,000 Russians, 100,000 Ukrainians dead, 200,000 plus at the minimum dead, not even counting wounded. Over 20 months. Imagine if something like this happens to be the Israel Hamas Gaza war. Imagine if something like that goes on even a fraction of this long. Put something like that into perspective here. We are in untrying times. Take a look at this. President Biden says, quote, "We can talk about a Israel-Hamas ceasefire after all the hostages are released," which obviously we haven't seen. Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, known as X now, warns of World War III potential, saying, "We need to figure out peace in Ukraine, and I think we need to restore normal relations with Russia," he said in a talk on X here this week. World War III is a civilizational risk that we may not recover from. So we need to prioritize avoiding World War III. That's what actually matters. And not what happened in World War I and have a regional conflict rapidly become a global conflict. The billionaire had previously offered a proposal to end the Ukraine war, which would have potentially ceded large swaths of Ukraine to Russia. He called for a ceasefire again Monday, saying war against Russia is helpless. Musk's suggestions have derided from Ukrainian officials as non-starters. They said, quote, "F off is my very diplomatic reply to you, Elon Musk." Ukrainian diplomat Andrei Malenky responded to his proposal in October 2022. Still, the billionaire is an influential figure in the war, leveraging his powerful Starlink internet technology, which enables much of the Ukrainian military at the front and includes allegations that Musk turned off the internet access for the Ukrainian military in certain situations. Also, amid the newly erupted war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, spurred earlier this month by a Hamas surprise attack, killing mostly Israeli civilians at a music festival, not a military target. Musk said the U.S. could be tested by an alliance between Russia, China, and Iran. Quote, "We do not have an overwhelming advantage in industrial might." Quote, "The foundation of war is economic power, especially industrial output. Basically, how many tanks and guns and drones can you make relative to the other side?" But you got to put into perspective here when you're talking about giving territory to an invader. And you also got to put this into perspective here in the new war as well, with Hamas attacking Israel out of the blue with 2,000 missiles on an innocent music festival with civilians there. And when you start to talk about giving territory to a country that is invading, to an invader, you also got to think about here, should you give territory to an invader? Because should you negotiate with terrorists? You think about the long-standing policy of many countries. We do not negotiate with terrorists. Should you negotiate with terrorists? Should you give in to terrorists? Should you give everything to terrorists? Should you basically, end a war and give the terrorists what they want to stop? If you've been paying attention to the maps, you can look at multiple different sources here. The Institute Study for the Study of War interactive map, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. You'll see that Russia only, has this far eastern border. Today's headlines, Ukraine map shows mixed picture as Russia's Advika losses pile up. And when you look at the broad picture here, this is the one that is the easiest picture for people to see. Russia had at the beginning of the war all this territory and eventually started to lose it, as you can see here. And now has lost territory after territory after territory over the last many months. And again, losing the red territory and the purple territory, and continues to lose territory after territory after territory. Okay, they're surely not gaining territory. And you look at something like controlling all of Ukraine, there's 90% more of Ukraine. They're losing territory. They're not gaining territory. And if you listen to pro-Russian YouTube channels, or that are possibly even getting paid by Russia to spew this stuff, that all the Ukrainian soldiers are gone. You got to remember here that Ukraine was a population of 45 million after women and children left. 40 million, so you got to remember there's 20 million men or so there. Okay, so all the 20 million men are not gone. That's like saying all the men in Russia are gone. So again, as you can look at the timeline here of all the territory that Russia has lost, if I mean, you could just look at the maps here. You can look at go Google and look at the territory that Russia controls. Russia's just losing territory. It is what it is, right? And now this new war in Israel is exactly what Putin wanted. So this is one of the likelihood that Russia helped fund, helped give Hamas these weapons. Russia, Iran, both allies, is very, very likely. Very, very likely. I mean, I think a lot of people are starting to realize this. This takes the spotlight off of Russia Ukraine war. This significantly weakens Ukraine's defensive positions, significantly strengthens Russia's position, the invader of Ukraine, and actually helps Russia significantly. Russia already criticizing Israel for defending themselves. Remember the innocent civilians that got attacked at a music festival, people that got captured from a music festival, children that got captured from a music festival, people that went inside bomb shelters there near a music festival and had grenades thrown inside there from these, terrorists there. And then you got people like Vladimir Putin criticizing Israel for trying to go back and get the people that were captured and people that were literally attacked at a music festival. It's absolutely just unbelievable, right? So you got to remember here, you're going to hear a lot of propaganda going forward. Again, don't attack and people at a music festival. Israel was just there. Don't attack them. If you don't want war, don't attack them. Don't go and invade other countries. Unfortunately, now we have two different wars now going forward, and things are escalating, and it's getting bad. So, if you didn't, go watch my previous video here of the warning the United States just said at the United Nations in that massive, massive speech. Things are getting out of control here. I'll link you to that video now. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. I will keep you up to date. Thanks for liking and sharing. Click here to see the warning the United States just said at the United Nations with a very fiery speech. It was unbelievable. Or you can click here to watch my newest video next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.